Good morning. Welcome to our lightning talk on the Learning Portal and an exciting new project on building Indigenous content for our students. Today we have Lisa Jack, who is co-chair of CLO's Indigenous Matters Committee and the manager at Confederation College Library. We have Tanis Fink, co-chair of the Learning Portal and director of Seneca Libraries, Learning Centers and Test Centers. And I'm Gail Strawn, Project Manager for College Libraries Ontario and the Learning Portal.
I'm Tanis Fink, co-chair of the Learning Portal with Annabelle Arkea from Algonquin College. So here's our Learning Portal, which we're very proud of. It is made up of 11 academic support hubs, 9 for students, and there's one for faculty that we call the Faculty Toolkit. Annabelle Arkea was responsible for the design of our hub, and we have 3 part-time staff that support her in the development and maintenance of the Learning Portal. The Learning Portal is accessible online 24/7, and most of the content can be remixed and reused under a Creative Commons license. The Learning Portal is the flagship project of College Libraries Ontario, CLO, designed to provide online access to a wide variety of open learning resources, tools, and learning supports. Available in both French and English, and developed and maintained through funding from OCLS, which is the Ontario Colleges Library Service. The Learning Portal was built with content donated, shared by the 24 colleges, and developed to support college curriculum and support learners at various levels. And now on to Lisa.
Thank you, Tanis. As Gail mentioned, my name is Lisa Jack, and it is my privilege to speak to you today from the shores of Lake Superior, the traditional territory of Fort William First Nation, signatory to the Robinson-Superior Treaty of 1850, here in Thunder Bay at Confederation College. If anyone knows me, they will realize it is both an honor and a challenge for me to talk with you today. An honor, as our library at Confederation, under the creative control of Tiffany Miller, is the college currently responsible for the design and upkeep of the Indigenous Inclusion module located within the Faculty Toolkit. A challenge, as I still can't fathom me talking about this transformational initiative in approximately 2 to 3 minutes, my allotted time for today. So on that note, I will get things rolling. Today, I would like to give you a brief overview of the current collection of Indigenous content located within the Faculty Toolkit and hopefully entice you to investigate further on your own. Tiffany and Annabella have done an outstanding overhaul of the content. A review of the site will be worth it, I promise. As well, I get to share with you the exciting news that we will be expanding the Indigenous Inclusion module into a full hub to include content for student use. And just as importantly, that we will be doing this work in collaboration with our colleagues from the Indigenous Peoples Education Circle. And finally, we will be hiring a new Indigenous librarian and multimedia programmer to assist us with this work. So if you know anyone who may be interested, please encourage them to apply as the postings are up and open. As mentioned, a highlight of the Learning Portal Faculty Toolkit is the provision of content for Indigenous inclusion. The module includes a curated collection of Indigenous-specific resources in a variety of formats and platforms that can be used to help increase awareness of Indigenous culture and perspectives. You will find strategies for creating spaces to learn, explore, grow, and create relationships and environments that promote diversity and inclusion. This content was selected specifically to assist faculty with integrating and embedding Indigenous history, perspective, cultural, and worldview into their lesson plans and curriculum. The module is designed around and follows the 4 principles of the Medicine Wheel framework under the following headings: relationship building and protocols, protecting Indigenous knowledge, databases, journals, and reports, and the final section includes content on Indigenous learning resources. From treaties to the TRC, land acknowledgements to land claims, protocols to powwows, historical to contemporary, there is something for both the novice and advanced learner seeking out Indigenous reflective content. I invite you to spend some time reviewing this robust collection and to share the link with your colleagues and coworkers, as we want every library at every college to get involved with our next phase of this important work at a regional and local level. It is our hope, along with the Indigenous Peoples Education Circle, that the Indigenous Hub becomes the go-to place for colleges across Ontario to locate much sought-after, credible Indigenous content. Content that will not only serve to enhance our local curriculums and our graduates' worldviews, but more importantly, help us with our collective efforts towards reconciliation and surpassing our directives under the TRC calls to action. Thank you.
Delivering online information literacy classes for students with English as a second language, ESL. My name is Laura and I've been a librarian for over 15 years. I'm a certified trainer, but I've also worked as an ESL professor. So the session today sits with both my librarian hat on and my ESL professor hat on. By the end of the session, you'll understand the impact of library instruction for English as a second language student, how to embed scaffolding strategies to increase comprehension, and how to make classes more accessible with interactive learning. Our student population comes from around the world, and on average we teach around 1,000 students per term. We teach at all levels, and we also teach classes that start at a basic level and move to more advanced research skills. Our students come from China, Iran and Turkey, and lots of countries from around the world. There are great impacts of online learning to our ESL students. When we teach in person, we can create a physical rapport with our students, and that's harder when we are teaching online. It's harder to establish that online rapport with students when we can't see them. It's harder to also monitor participation of who is listening effectively to the classes. And there are different levels of information literacy. Some people are very advanced with their tech usage, and some people have never used a computer before. It's also harder for students to stay focused online in comparison to the physical classroom. There are scaffolding and strategies which we can include within library instruction to aid comprehension. We can include verbal scaffolding strategies, and these look at the actual language usage. When we add these to procedural scaffolding strategies, that's looking at tools, resources, structure, and past knowledge required to learn. When we add these both together, this leads to increased comprehension. When we have a look at the verbal scaffolding, we can help students during library instruction. We can do this by slowing our speech. The students are trying to learn new concepts of information literacy, how to search the databases, how to navigate the databases. So slowing your speech down and enunciating and pronouncing things properly really helps. Avoid complicated terminology and idiomatic language. So don't say to the students, have you got cold feet today learning the databases? Because to them, that means their feet are actually cold. Avoid using complicated terminology like federated search software. Say, does the search toolbar look like Google? Also, you can paraphrase and repeat different concepts multiple times so that students understand. When we have a look at procedural scaffolding, there are tools and resources that can help the students to understand the session. If you provide them an outline to the class at the beginning, it gives them an anchor to understand what's coming next. Also, you can assess and link previous knowledge and build on their background knowledge to help them understand concepts. When we have a look at teaching in a synchronous online mode, there are certain features within video conferencing that can help and check methods of student understanding. So one example would be the polls that we can use. We can stop at certain points, ask a poll question to check the understanding of the students. We can also link with previous knowledge. So if we can understand what the previous classes have taught, if we can understand their personal experience, that all helps with linking together with new content. This helps to make an effective learning strategy. The example on the screen I have is a final level 8 library instruction session. You can see that the new content we introduced to the students builds on the previous knowledge they were introduced to in previous classes, and the new content links back to previous instruction and connects to their personal experiences of using the GBC library resources. We can make content more accessible by using games and activities in library instruction. On the screen, I've got 3 different examples of activities, games, and worksheets that we have used to help with interactivity. By building in opportunities for interaction with games and activities, We are helping the students with critical thinking, problem solving, and discovery-based learning. The games and activities help us to give specific formative feedback. It helps students to also give us feedback whether they've understood a concept. Adding interaction creates a dynamic cognitive process of remembering, understanding, and applying. And the games and activities decrease anxiety and help learners to study in a relaxed and enjoyable atmosphere. To conclude, think about previous knowledge, consider the scaffolding techniques, and evaluate, are your information literacy activities meeting your goals? Thank you for listening.
My objective is always to produce a 100% plagiarism-free scholarly product. When I came across this expert writer, I just knew I had to do something. Welcome to my Speeding Demon style talk. Enter Player 1, Gaming Academic Integrity on and off the board. In the remaining 4 minutes and 47 seconds, I will introduce you to a new and exciting adventure game, Slaying the Plagiarism Dragon. You will discover how the game came to be, you will move with me through its very own growing pains, and together we will soak up the onboard and offboard playing action. How it all came together. In my spare time, I like to read through back issues of the English Journal. One afternoon, while cruising through a couple of late 80s issues, I came across an article that set the whole thing in motion. Joyce Armstrong Carroll wrote an article entitled Plagiarism, the Unfun Game. At that moment, I just knew what I had to do. I had to put the play back in plagiarism. Well, to be honest, I, air quotes, borrowed the phrase, putting the play back in plagiarism, from another academic integrity warrior by the name of Dr. Mike Reddy, a professor at the University of South Wales. And now, from here on in, everything will be 100% original. I swear it. Let's take a closer look. After a handful of name changes, I settled on some serious dragon slaying. Essentially, players make their way around a familiar style board, increasing their knowledge of plagiarism and academic integrity, earning enough money, enough credits, to graduate. With a growing card deck of over 250 questions, each gaming experience is unique. The game also includes over 50 role-playing scenarios where students make their way competitively or cooperatively through the muck and mire of sticky ethical situations. Of course, each game prototype requires some sort of testing, and whenever I encounter game developers on the road of life, they are always on the hunt for opportunities to play test and evaluate their game prototypes. After some college testing that produced an unbelievable approval rating, I landed the golden ticket of playtesting experiences. I entered the high school arena. Here are the stats. 3 consecutive days, 12 classes, 280 students, and 41 unique playtesting sessions. And my game survived, as this and other graphs attest to. After the golden ticket experience, as you might imagine, the game has undergone substantial revisions, making it even better. So what's it like? Well, to better answer that question, I have prepared a medley of playing cards that you may encounter. Not listed, but still one of my favorite college life cards is this one. You walk into a library, and not by accident. Move ahead 2 squares. This next card, while short and sweet, can sometimes bring a shade of terror across a student's face. Here we go. In Canada, plagiarism is a crime under the criminal code. True or false? I'll let you ponder this one. Finally, we dive into the blood, sweat, and tears of academic integrity by role-playing our way to honest conversations. Enter player one. Veronica did some stuff. As you consider the greasy wheels of this situation, the game also works well in a variety of ways off the board. My offboarding experiences with the game have been equally rewarding. For example, just imagine what might happen when you bring together a student with a great expectation, a curveball question, a timer, a random number generator, and the must-have plastic prize. Good times, I say. And now we've arrived at the end, but not the end. If you are interested, I will send you my game files in exchange for a bottle of lime soda, Pop Shop style, of course. A quick email to rsims@centennialcollege.ca should do it. Thank you and happy gaming.